On June 27, 2025, Amazon founder and multi-billionaire Jeffrey Bezos was wed to his partner of 6 years, Lauren Sanchez. I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video that I am not going to be covering the hot gossip from the wedding. However, I can't ignore the fact that they seemingly put a gray office rug on the ground of a beautiful outdoor pavilion. Jeffrey Bezos may have the wealth of the monarchy, but he does not have the class. In all seriousness though, I'm not making this video to cover the tackiness of the wedding. Multiple sources have estimated that Jeffrey's Venice wedding could have cost anywhere from $25 million to $50 million. How much it really costs though is just semantics. All you really need to know is that it was more money than any of us will ever see in our lifetimes. Protests erupted in Venice on the day of the wedding, with crowds of hundreds chanting things like, "Bezos fuck off," and "out of our lagoon." Bezos has a lot of power, Austrian protester Hans-Peter Martin told CNN, and now he's abusing this city as a place to show off, so he's not welcome here. "We can barely pay the rent," one woman who identified herself as an Amazon worker told a crowd of demonstrators. "Many of us come from far away to reach the warehouse. We make do. We don't see these millions." What struck me the most about this wedding was its guests. Most of the guests were not surprising, like CEO of OpenAI Sam Altman, or Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka and her husband Jared Kushner, or multiple members of the Jordan royal family. Many, though, were surprised to see certain celebrities of varying wealth and status attending Jeffrey and Lauren's wedding. Among them were Kylie and Kendall Jenner, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, Kris Jenner, Orlando Bloom, Ellie Goulding, Usher, Tom Brady, and professional con artist Scooter Braun. On top of this, there were other more notable celebrities, not in terms of their popularity, but rather in regards to their relation to capitalist pig Jeffrey Bezos. Such celebrities were GMA News host Gayle King, actor Sydney Sweeney, talk show host and business owner Oprah Winfrey, and climate activist and actor Leonardo DiCaprio. Following the wedding, I was reminded of a debate that I've had with my mom, who is a QAnon cult follower. Not a strong start to the story, I know. My mother adamantly believes that wealthy celebrities like Madonna are secretly sacrificing babies in tunnels underground, eating the flesh of newborns, all while they have blood orgies together. Now, I don't doubt for a second that the wealthy are doing things behind closed doors that are absolutely heinous. Just look at Diddy and Epstein's cases. What my mom is missing here though, and what I always remind her of, is that the wealthy do not need to hide their evil doings from us. They are already out there in the open, and time again, they get away with it. Evil people don't need to hide their actions when they're already being rewarded for doing irreparable harm right in front of our faces. On top of this, my mom believes that liberal celebrities are radical in their political beliefs, and that Hollywood is dominated by communists. If attending a multi-billionaire's wedding makes you a communist, then I have no idea where I stand in the political spectrum. Again, my mom is missing something here. The system is designed to reward those who side with dangerous power structures. Madonna can say that she wants to blow up the White House, her words, not mine, all she wants, but her feminism only goes so far as it benefits her. Oprah's activism is only useful to her when she's the one being rewarded by oppressive structures. Very few celebrities, if any, can be described as anything beyond liberal or centrist. It's very easy to slap environmentalist or feminist or pro-LGBTQ on oppressive structures like capitalism and make it seem radical, but it never will be. Many allege that some of these celebrities were paid to attend the wedding, seeing how money is the greatest motivator. Whether or not they were though, doesn't matter. Who wouldn't want to attend a human rights abuser's wedding? Who wouldn't want to attend a monopolistic pig's wedding? It's not likely that they had a gun to their head forcing them to go. They chose to go because it was in their best interest to do so, with each of them of course using their own private jet to go to the same place, creating a carbon footprint that could likely power a town. In today's video, I will discuss the pitfalls of celebrity culture, whether or not celebrities or which celebrities deserve their wealth, celebrities' performative or non-existent activism, and how in the end, celebrities are not your friends. Leonardo DiCaprio was perhaps the most confusing guest to some, as if dating women under half his age wasn't bad enough. For years, DiCaprio has been posting on his Instagram, but also advocating in person through production credits and speeches for indigenous tribes, endangered species, and about the impacts of climate change and deforestation, among other things. His Instagram bio says, actor and environmentalist. Well, only one of those is true. This past election, he even endorsed Kamala Harris, although that doesn't really mean much. Leonardo DiCaprio's attendance was not surprising to those who have looked past the surface of his activism. DiCaprio is the perfect example of a wealthy liberal activist. He only advocates for and criticizes that which doesn't have an impact on him. Most people can agree with the majority of what he advocates for. We know that deforestation is bad, that the overmining of Earth's precious minerals is bad, that displacing indigenous tribes is bad, but few people agree on what the real cause of all this is. Capitalism. DiCaprio, along with his other mega wealthy celebrity peers, started off making a living on his craft. Many of them gained a lot of wealth from their talent alone, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. While some actors and other creatives may be rich, The person signing their checks is wealthy. DiCaprio has undeniably had great performances. Even now, some of my favorite roles have been played by him. Actors and other creatives deserve to be fairly compensated for their work. However, Leonardo DiCaprio is no longer a struggling actor. Not only is he in the top 0.01% of actors themselves, but he is also in the top income bracket of America as a whole. I realize that net worths are not always accurate and they do not reflect how much literal cash someone has on hand, but when we are talking at the financial scale of celebrities like DiCaprio, it is a useful tool. Capital is capital, whether it's in the form of 9 properties or a private jet. His net worth is certainly in the hundreds of millions, possibly $300 million as some outlets have reported. Like I said, making a lot of money from your craft alone does not necessarily make you evil, but being a hypocrite does. Consider that DiCaprio has been spotted partying and traveling on various people's super yachts, including allegedly vacationing on the billionaire founder of Zara's super yacht. As Mirror UK reported, a super yacht can emit as much carbon as an average car in a year by sailing just 7 miles. DiCaprio also reportedly does not own any private jets, but he does charter and fly on them often. DiCaprio claims that he offsets his annual 11-ton carbon footprint by participating in an organization called Future Forest, which plants trees by selling the amount of carbon travelers emit into the atmosphere by taking planes, trains, and, in the case at hand, luxury yachts. But the organization is severely underestimating the actor's yearly carbon emissions. Not only that, but planting some trees is only a band-aid on the problem. I don't want to understate the positive impact that his advocacy has had. Along with him bringing attention to climate change and its consequences, he also created the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation in 1998, which rebranded to Rewild in 2021. Their mission was to protect the Earth's last wild places and to find ways of achieving a harmonious relationship between humanity and the natural world. It now supports over 35 innovative conservation projects around the world that protect fragile ecosystems and key species. His foundation has reportedly awarded over $100 million in grants to over 100 organizations, though it is a donor-advised fund, which offers quicker tax breaks and also isn't required to report on how their money is spent. As I mentioned earlier, he has also produced various projects that center around climate change. Out of all of the most wealthy celebrities in America, DiCaprio is one of the few who has used their platform and money for good. If DiCaprio was only partaking in smaller, destructive activities, I wouldn't even be talking about him. You don't have to be perfect in order to be an environmentalist, you just have to do your best. I don't believe in picking apart every little thing that someone does. However, when you're at the scale that he is, not only financially, but also in terms of his notoriety, sacrifices are expected. Leonardo DiCaprio has donated more money than I will likely ever see in my life, and I recognize that. But on top of those tax breaks, he is also partaking in activities that produce more waste than I likely ever could produce in my entire life. If DiCaprio believes that sacrifices are necessary to fight climate change, I find it strange that he wouldn't make some in his own personal life. Wealth and environmentalism do not click together in my mind. I find that many wealthy celebrities who advocate for causes are willing to advocate for every change in the book except for the ones that would most directly impact their lavish lifestyles. It's similar to an issue that I discussed in my recent video about overconsumption. I would use the term green capitalism to describe this. Green capitalism is a form of greenwashing which essentially argues for band-aids to be put over our environmental destruction, instead of advocating for systemic change, or what some would call a revolution, the elimination of capitalism. If Leonardo DiCaprio truly believes in fighting climate change, then he shouldn't be canoodling with Jeffrey Bezos and partying on super yachts. I mean, if I ever saw Jeffrey Bezos in person, well, let's just say I wouldn't be invited to his next wedding.
The bourgeois has torn away from the family its accumulation of wealth and has reduced the family relationship. Political power, properly so-called, is merely the organized power of one class for mental degradation. Let the ruling class so-called is merely the organized power of one class for oppression. They have a world to win.
Hey, Jeff!
Hey, I'm so glad you can make it.
You know me, I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Hey, come with me. I have something I want to show you. Tell me how the labor rights abuser! You really
Successful actors, musicians, or artists of any kind are not where most of the blame for our exploitative system should be placed. Of course, the real scary people are people like our politicians, or Jeffrey Bezos, but especially the wealthy who are much more withdrawn from the public eye. It's popular to criticize celebrities, but most of them are not the people we should be focusing our attention on. For the vast majority of artists, they get paid directly for their labor. A famous actor gets paid a couple million to star in a big budget film. A singer gets paid when people buy their music. However, when we start talking about extremely wealthy celebrities, they are no longer benefiting from their valuable labor alone. It is impossible to have hundreds of millions of dollars, let alone billions, without exploiting people directly or indirectly, or exploiting the system to your own benefit. Taylor Swift is often mentioned in this debate, since in 2024 it was reported that she was now worth over $1 billion. Now, I'm not here to debate the semantics of Taylor Swift's wealth. Many have argued that her wealth is not immoral because most of her value comes from the estimated value of the music she owns. However, this doesn't change the fact that she makes a lot of money from her tours and merchandise. While it's not necessarily Taylor herself who is placing the value on the music, she is still benefiting from these assets and therefore from a system that allows people like her to have vast quantities of wealth that create a class divide and a further imbalance of power. It's not like Taylor Swift is maniacally devising ways to make sure her workers get paid dirt wages, something that I'm sure Jeffrey does, but she is still part of the wealthy billionaire class, something that cannot exist without exploitation on some level. You cannot have class divides without exploitation. I find it weird that so many people defend wealthy artists in particular by using the defense that they are being fairly compensated for their labor. Taylor Swift is incredibly talented, despite what haters say. She is literally one of my favorite artists. But how is it fair that she has music worth hundreds of millions of dollars while I'm afraid of losing my Medicaid and being unable to pay for my medical bills? Is my labor not valuable? Actually, don't answer that, especially if you're an angry Swiftie watching. Of course, musicians like Beyonce and Jay-Z, Rihanna, Bruce Springsteen, and so on, who are all worth over $1 billion, should be criticized too. While artists are their own personal brands, they're also able to make this amount of money by creating separate businesses, like Rihanna, who has her own brands that are built off of exploitation. No matter what people say, you cannot earn $1 billion. Let's say someone makes about $40,000 a year. They would have to work 25,000 years to earn $1 billion. It doesn't matter if it's in assets or not. Every billionaire's net worth is mostly based on their assets. What matters is that they have money and power that 99% of people don't. Being a celebrity does not automatically make you rich, of course. Most musicians, actors, directors, and so on will never see the kind of money that Leonardo DiCaprio or Beyonce has. A lot of people learned this during the recent SAG-AFTRA strikes, as numerous celebrities revealed how little they were compensated for their work in various movies and TV shows. Hence, why I find the argument about whether a creative is being paid fairly for their own labor to be mostly semantic. I am talking about the 0.01% of actors, musicians, and so on, not the average better than well-off creative. If we believe in people being fairly compensated, then why should Leonardo DiCaprio's pay be half of a film's entire budget? Do the hundreds of other people who worked on that film not work hard? Or does he deserve that money more because he has a namesake, something that a just as or more talented actor doesn't have when compared to him? I mean, if that was the case, then we'd be arguing that The Rock deserves $20 million every time he plays the same role in a different movie. It's easier for people to brush off celebrities' wealth because they don't seem to be causing any direct harm, like a lobbyist or a politician or a corporate billionaire does. While this is somewhat true, it's also incredibly naive to act like your favorite mega-rich celebrities are not contributing to any sort of harm in the world. I've said this before, we all cause harm in one way or another, some more than others, and Leonardo DiCaprio certainly causes more harm than me when he's super yachting on vacation. It's not suddenly excused just because he's a good actor. The celebrities who attended Jeffrey's wedding prove that they will support whatever lets them maintain their status quo. If they have to show up to Jeffrey's wedding to get their next huge paycheck or to open their next business, they will. We are plebeians to them. Any threat to the system is a threat to their money and power, no matter how they earned said money and power. Again, most actors and musicians should not be the first targets of the revolution. Actors specifically are mostly unionized, meaning that they have more power as workers, meaning most are not a part of the bourgeois. Even wealthy actors like Matt Damon are unionized, but this shouldn't mean that we should just let people off the hook. Apparently, owning multiple properties, owning and or using private jets and super yachts often, and having billions of dollars is okay depending on your career. It's not their fault that our government or society doesn't punish them for their status. On CBS's Face the Nation Sunday, IAC chairman Billy Diller called on top-paid actors and movie executives alike to take 25% pay cuts. You have the actors union saying, how dare these 10 people who run these companies earn all this money and won't pay us? While if you look at it on the other side, the top 10 actors get paid more than the top 10 executives, Diller said. I'm not saying either is right. Actually, everybody's probably overpaid at the top end. Most creatives do not earn this kind of money simply by being talented. They own businesses, properties, stocks. The Rock earns a lot of his money from his tequila brand. The Kardashians earn their money from their many business ventures. It's no surprise that all of them, save for Courtney, were at the wedding, dressed tackier than ever. I've found it harder to engage in celebrity culture as I've gotten older. I still peruse drama subreddits from time to time, and I still enjoy getting excited over new music and film releases. I don't want to disavow everyone, or even myself, from enjoying anything, because creating art, in a way, is radical. On the other hand, Tom Cruise, for example, is one of my favorite actors. But it's hard to celebrate his talent and service to the film industry when he is incredibly wealthy and removed from normal society, as if being a leader in Scientology wasn't bad enough. I know most people don't think too deeply about this. To be honest, I try not to either. I want to listen to Taylor Swift and Beyonce and respect their contributions to music without thinking about their wealth and power. I want to binge watch the Mission Impossible movies without thinking about the fact that Tom Cruise is a Scientologist, but it's becoming harder and harder to do so. Celebrities like Sydney Sweeney attending Jeffrey's wedding was just a cherry on top of my doom and gloom. Now the gluttonous, hideous bill has been signed into law, furthering my own and others' suffering. How am I supposed to enjoy art made by these powerful and wealthy individuals without thinking about all these things? Their willingness to stick to the status quo, their desire to make as much money as possible, their distance from the average person. At one point in time, it was easier for people to connect to celebrities. For years, we have viewed them being out of touch as aspirational, the epitome of capitalist success. But as the years go on, it's becoming harder and harder to engage with their gluttonous lives without considering how privileged those at the top truly are. Another troubling aspect of these celebrities' lives is that they do not even have to think about our troubles, and rarely do they speak about them in any way. Creator Elliot Sang uploaded a video last year about celebrities, but mostly famous influencers, who were not discussing the ongoing genocide in Palestine. I highly recommend you check this out, but also a sister video of his where he responds to creator Salem Tovar's ignorant take on the situation. Another related video of his, titled "Solidarity is Supposed to Be Hard," is also worth checking out, as it relates to what I'm about to discuss, although again, that video focuses a lot on influencers and not traditional celebrities. I'm mostly only going to talk about major A-list celebrities in this video, though I will include an influencer or two as an example of my point. Last year, a trend was started on TikTok in which people blocked prominent social media figures who did not use their platform to speak out about various issues in the world, namely the ongoing genocide in Palestine. Now this trend, while targeting multiple celebrities like Kim Kardashian and the like, started mostly as a response to a social media influencer, Hailey Bailey. Basically, she was invited to last year's Met Gala to be a host for E! News on the red carpet. And while there, she posted a video showing off her gown with an audio that said, "Let them eat cake." Following this, discussions were sparked mostly about her silence on the Palestinian genocide, but also her crude use of the sound, with many feeling that this video was incredibly ignorant and out of touch, which it was. But let's be clear, Hailey Bailey is a drop of water in the ocean. Hailey didn't even pay to attend the actual gala, which is most people's main contention with the Met. While I understand and have felt the same contention, it is a little misplaced in my opinion. Tickets to the Met Gala cost $75,000, which certainly makes this an elite gathering. However, the Met does not receive public funding, meaning that the large donations that celebrities make are what keep the museum, which stores hundreds of vintage fashion items, running, which reportedly costs a lot. At last year's gala, comparisons were made between the humanitarian crises that are ongoing in various parts of the world, like Palestine, the Dominican Republic of Congo, and Sudan, with the celebrities' lavish red carpet arrivals. While they were wealthy enough to attend an elite invite-only event, children were being decapitated in Palestine. The comparison is stark, but again, is this where our attention should be focused? Even this far in the video, I can admit that being mad at celebrities for their lavish lifestyles and ignorance is not of the utmost importance in the grand scheme of things. Eat the rich, yes, but maybe we should target the Warren Buffetts of the world first. I was reading through the comments on Khadija and Bo's video on this situation last year, which I will link down below, but one comment struck my eye. We use celebrities as sensationalist escapism from our struggles, to live vicariously through them. Now that we see they are part of the reason why we struggle, we have stopped seeing them as comfort separate from harsh reality, but as a mirror of reality. I couldn't have said it better myself. Hailey Bailey is much more privileged than I, with an apartment that costs $17,000 a month. But Rihanna makes billions on fast fashion and makeup, and Nazi Elon Musk is worth Rihanna's entire fortune times 400. Hailey Bailey is not wealthy by any means. Privileged and ignorant, yes, but not nearly at the scale of any of the aforementioned people. I believe that people expect influencers to speak about ongoing political and social issues because our parasocial relationships with them is stronger. We want them to reflect our views. to risk something and be as outspoken as some of us are about the issues in the world. We definitely have a similar mindset for celebrities, but I don't think it's nearly as strong. Many celebrities are enigmas, and their ignorance is almost expected of them. But influencers build platforms off of their lives and opinions. Sharing important messages and resources for an ongoing genocide seems like a natural step and a better use of their platform than posting another fake morning routine video. Among the lists of celebrities to be blocked were Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Zendaya, Kylie Jenner, and many others. Now, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to unfollow celebrities or other famous people who you disagree with. I've done it plenty of times over the past year due to my disillusionment. Why do I need to see what Miley Cyrus is posting when she has more money and power than I'll ever know? And when I don't even like her music that much. However, this was called a trend for a reason. What real collective action did this spark except for people being mad at celebrities? I'm making this video to bash certain celebrities, yes, but also to point out the different nuances in celebrity culture. Like I said earlier, many of these celebrities are genuinely very talented. They just happen to be greedy capitalists on top of that. Why are we so focused on disengaging from consuming these people's art when the American government is literally kidnapping its residents? You can, of course, have both though. I personally hope that I've done a good amount of political work to justify me making this video. If I were just making this video screaming into the void about celebrities, I think it would be incredibly performative. A lot of people participated in this trend in order to show their disapproval of celebrities' lack of activism for various issues. This is also part of the reason why I have unfollowed certain people and stopped engaging in discussions about them over the past 2 years. For me, I feel disgusted that so many horrible things could be happening in the world while these incredibly wealthy people stay silent. My channel and my work is a part of me, but it is also an extension of my politics, just like my politics is an extension of my work. At the same time, I also have zero expectations for mega celebrities or even influencers. I can understand the argument that famous celebrities should not be required to speak out about political and social issues. On one hand, I would prefer my favorite artist shut the fuck up. If a famous musician that I like decided to give a strong political take on an issue and it didn't align with how I felt, it would taint their music for me. There is also the argument to be made that celebrities didn't initially sign up to be political thought leaders. They wanted to get famous for their craft, not their politics. However, at the same time, these people are incredibly cushioned in their lives, and like it or not, celebrities have voices that are listened to. Why wouldn't you use that voice to advocate for what you believed in? Well, when celebrities decide to dip their toes into activism, it's lukewarm at best and toxic sewer sludge at worst. Let's go back to Taylor Swift. Taylor has had a history of endorsing Democratic candidates. Many of her fans have viewed this as Taylor being in support of progressive causes. In reality, her endorsement of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris doesn't mean much and doesn't make her anything close to a progressive. It was only her doing what was expected from her by her fans. In the past, I've been reluctant to publicly voice my political opinions, but due to several events in my life and the world in the past 2 years, I feel very differently about that now. She said in 2018 on social media, "I always have and always will cast my vote based on which candidate will protect and fight for the human rights I believe we all deserve in this country." Like I said before, these celebrities are willing to support whatever cause will allow them to keep the status quo. Standing up for LGBTQ people was hot and poppin' in 2019. Now, being an advocate for queer people will put you on their radar, something that almost no celebrity is willing to risk. Nowadays, Taylor has been seen hanging with various MAGA influencers. Being an ally was just a skin for her to put on and shed when it wasn't useful to her.
Hey everyone, it's Leonardo DiCaprio here, because I'm sure you didn't know that. I'm making this video to provide my full endorsement of the 14th Amendment. Freed slaves are citizens, and they deserve to have equal rights and protection, just like the rest of us. Write to your Congress members and tell them to ratify the 14th Amendment into our Constitution.
Taylor obviously isn't the only celebrity endowed in this faux progressivism. Another person who was at Jeffrey's wedding was Good Morning America host Gayle King, who along with disowned pop singer Katy Perry, Jeffrey's now wife Lauren Sanchez, producer Carrie Ann Flynn, aerospace engineer Ayesha Bowe, and civil rights advocate Amanda Dugan, was part of the first all-female Blue Origin crew launch into space. Blue Origin, if you don't know, is a privatized space tourism company owned by, you guessed it, Jeffrey Bezos. As if Amazon now offering a privatized healthcare app wasn't bad enough, now you can fly on a phallic-shaped spaceship for 7 minutes for the low cost of $10 million. I'm sure most of you watching me, of all people, agree that our exploration of space is not for sale, nor should it be treated as a spectacle and a commodity for consumption. Blue Origin requires a $150,000 deposit to reserve a spot, with the first auction seat on their first launch being bought for $28 million, though they have given away seats for free, like in this instance. The privatization of space exploration is bad, But the fact that this company has been sanctioned by the infamous Jeffrey Bezos makes all of this 10 times worse. Blue Origin's first female flight wasn't feminist. It was capitalist. This is what the system likes to do. Mask its true exploitation with promises of female empowerment and gay rights. But capitalism is not empowering or liberating. It's oppressive. Gayle King's response to the hate was to first defend Jeffrey Bezos' Blue Origin mission. What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet cleaner. Jeff Bezos has so many ideas, and the people that are working there are really devoted and dedicated to making our planet a better place. That's number one. I wonder what else would make our planet cleaner. You know, I can't seem to think of a single thing. Blue Origin claims that their mission is to reduce waste from launch takeoffs by crafting reusable space vehicles and to harness resources from space to make up for the amount of resources from the Earth that we're using. Why not take a few extra flights in order to make a couple $100 million? That's what space travel is all about, right? Gayle went on to say, there was nothing frivolous about what we did. So you know, I'm very disappointed and very saddened by the criticism. And I also say this, what it's doing to inspire other women and young girls, please don't ignore that. I've had so many women and young girls reach out to me, and men too, by the way. Men too that say, wow, I never thought you could do that, but I see you doing it at this stage of your life. Treating this the same as astronauts training for years and devoting their lives to space exploration is actually pathetic. You are a news host, not an astronaut. This was really just a few celebrities and 2 educated but ignorant women who wanted to fly into space on Jeffrey's rocket. It's no surprise that Gayle King would show up to Jeffrey's wedding as well. She clearly admires him. The Blue Origin flight was gluttonous and the perfect example of liberal celebrity performatism. Don't even get me started on the shitstorm that Katy Perry is either. Katy clearly hasn't learned that most on the left don't appreciate 2016 performatism anymore. Working with an accused rapist on a song about women's empowerment isn't feminist. It's pathetic. Of course, celebrities' performative activism goes way back, even all the way back to 2020. While all of us were locked into our normal people homes, and some were on the front line working in hospitals, and some people were even dying, and still are, genocide lover Gal Gadot decided to get a few of her celebrity pals together to make a video that would go on to change the world. Gal started this fateful video by saying that, no matter who you are, we're all in this together. Are we though? You're a multimillionaire who made money from being a subpar actress. Everyone else barely makes a livable wage and can't afford to take months off work while staying in their Malibu penthouse. The Italian man who went viral for playing the trumpet on his balcony had a pure and powerful message because he was truly in it with everyone else in that row of homes. You are a sheltered celebrity who thought she was going to unite the world with a fucking a cappella of a John Lennon song. What do you want from them then? I honestly don't know. Part of me wishes that all of them would just shut the fuck up. But the other part of me wishes that they would use their power and wealth for good. The reality is that they rarely do the latter, and when they do attempt to, it's often pathetic and surface level.
I know you all have been wondering why I've been silent. The truth is, I don't feel educated to speak about this issue. What we're seeing play out in Germany and Poland right now is honestly horrific. But at the same time, Germans have suffered a lot too. This is a complex issue that deserves much more nuance than what people are treating it with right now. What do people expect will end this violence? Ending the Third Reich? Where would all the Nazis go? Please know that you can have mixed thoughts on this issue, like I do. I pray for everyone involved in this war.
God, that was so stressful. Diane?
Yes?
I'm ready for my massage today.
I'll get ready for you, sir.
Actually, scratch that. I think I'm gonna decompress in my sauna first. I've had a long day.
I want to close out this video with a final critique of one more celebrity. Chelsea Handler, although she was not at Jeffrey's wedding, has recently caught my attention for her faux progressivism. I had heard of Chelsea since she is a very well-known comedian. A few months back, I heard that she had a new memoir come out. I never read any of her books. I didn't even know that she was a published author. A few weeks back, I decided to give her audiobook a listen. You can read my full review on Goodreads, but the book, on the surface, wasn't terrible. However, there was one part of it that really caught my attention. In one chapter, Handler discusses meeting George W. Bush while playing pickleball with his 2 daughters at their home in Maine. In her book, she writes that she was nervous to be seen with him since he goes against all of her political beliefs. Apparently, he introduced himself to Chelsea and showed her around their home. She said that they took a selfie together and described him as a nice guy. I was struck by this because throughout the book, Handler describes herself at multiple points as a feminist, an LGBTQ ally, among other things. Why would a progressive of any kind choose to hang out with the Bushes, let alone with the former president and war criminal George W. Bush? Then I realized This is all par for the course. Handler is a rich and privileged white woman. Hanging out with George W. Bush doesn't hurt her career or status. In fact, it likely strengthens it. Why does she need to question and get rid of the status quo when being in line with it with a thin veil of liberalism over it has gotten her this far? It was not surprising for me to learn that for the past 2 years, Chelsea has been defending Western imperialism as well as the Israeli occupation and genocide. Under one celebrity's ranting and raving Zionist Instagram post, Chelsea replied, "Absolutely true. As if Hamas isn't coming for all Westerners, women, gays, and black people. They want to kill us all, and we have Westerners supporting them." Well, I for one am more afraid of losing my Medicaid than Hamas, but I guess Chelsea and I just live different lives. In one video with Israeli actress Noah Tishby, Chelsea, who is from America and a native English speaker, says that she is pro-Palestinian and anti-Hamas, while saying that progressives should love Israel because it's the only democracy and progressive country in the Middle East. Ah, the classic white liberal, brown people don't deserve to live because they're backwards argument. I know I didn't live through the aftermath of 9/11, but this sure feels like deja vu. My mom is wrong. Many celebrities are terrible people, not because they are secret cult members who hate Donald Trump, but because they will do anything to keep their capital and, by extension, power. Chelsea Handler, Leonardo DiCaprio, or whoever should not be our political thought leaders. I'm not even sure some of them have thoughts anymore. Nearly every single one of them is one step away from getting on a private jet to attend the next billionaire's extravaganza. As long as Mark Zuckerberg doesn't dress up as Benson Boone again, I think the world will be fine, actually. Celebrities are not your friends. They are artists, though some of them are not that great at that either, and they're the right-hand man of the machine. When we stop glamorizing their gluttony and ignorance, maybe then they'll learn that they're not really that special. Well, that's it for me, and that's it for this video. Comment down below what you thought of this video. Like my overconsumption video, this video was mostly a hodgepodge of a bunch of thoughts I had recently, so I hope it came together as somewhat cohesive. Comment down below anything you want to comment down below. I'd like to give a special thanks to my Patreon members who are part of my Alpha and Delta tiers. Thank you so much to Olivia Schutt and Dallas Andrade. I truly appreciate your continued support. It means the world to me. Thank you so much to all my Patreon members. If you want to become a member, the link will be down below, as always. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you like me, you can subscribe. I post videos about whatever I feel like talking about, so if that sounds like your thing, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you know when I post a video. Anyway, I really hope you all enjoyed this video, but more importantly, I really hope I see you in the next one. I'm getting sick of saying this. You're going to be there, right? Bye-bye.